Hello and welcome to another session of the Business Renovator for the fall of 2020. What an interesting year it's been, right? Interesting is one word for it. I want to start off today again like I normally do. Just let me get to this. So this is sponsored by my buddy Brian Monahan. He's the author of a book called Customer Delight 365. Easy for me to say. Brian, today, his quote is based on Winston Churchill. The price of greatness is responsibility, which is going to tie in pretty well with what I'm going to talk about today. Have you ever stopped to consider the cost of delight? I suspect the price of delight includes responsibility, but it also includes care, humor, humility, just to name a few. Take the time to identify what it takes to deliver delight and create a plan to bring it to life. So what value are you bringing to your audience, whoever it is you serve, whether you're selling, leading, entrepreneur? What value are you bringing? Are you bringing value? Are you, my favorite non-word, it is a word, I'm not a big fan of it. When we pitch is great for baseball, but when we're working with people in the sales world, if we're pitching them our ideas, it's really more about us than it is them. So by thinking of what Brian's talking about, customer delight, how can you delight your prospects and clients? What value can you bring? How can you serve them and help them get to where they are, from where they are to where they want to get to? So today what I wanted to do is actually kind of talk about that. We've talked about a number of things this week about performing at your best, and this quote here is going to stick with me for quite a while. It's a relatively new one to me, but I'm a fan of acronyms because they help me remind myself and remember what are some of the key principles. And when we're talking about the goal session and setting goals, once you set a goal, all of the laws, principles that you would learn in a program I facilitate called Perform at Your Best, all of those principles and laws show up. You don't even need to really remember them much anymore, but you do need to set a goal. So yes, you expect success. You could expect the other side of that, the flip side of that, the mirror side of that. But I encourage you to focus on what it is you really, really want. Which brings me into today's session, which is programming your mind for success. And there's a number of ways of doing that. The starting point is deciding what it is you want to do, who you want to be, and where you'd like to go with your life. And the way to do that is to start by setting goals. And if you can figure out what your why is, your major definite purpose, the reason why you want to do what you want to do. One of my favorite mantras that I've learned from a mentor of mine is, if you know what you want and know why you want it, stifle the how, and then take the action to move towards it. You'll get intuitive ideas, you'll get hunches to pick up the phone, read a book, go to the library, take a trip, follow those ideas. They're very, very powerful. In order to activate those, you need to do what we talked about the other day, is to set your goals so that you know where you're going. You know, the GPS works with two principles: identifying where you are right now, what's your location, and where you're navigating to. So what's your end destination? This is the same. This is how you can program your mind for success. But I'm going to share a few tips and tricks that will also assist you in this process. And if you're in Canada, process. And that is to use your imagination to visualize what it is you want it to be. Look for people that you admire, that you like, or respect. Look for attributes that they have that appeal to you. It doesn't mean that you're going to see yourself as that individual, but if there's some trait that you'd like to imprint into you, look at what it is they're doing and then start making it yours. Well, how do you make it yours? By visualizing, seeing yourself at your future best, doing that sort of thing, whether it's public speaking, being an author. Go do the research of the people that you like, at least in terms of how they show up. If they've got energy that you want, go borrow that energy by assimilating it, turning it into you that little bit. You're not going to become the person. You don't have to worry. If you look out there at different people and watch what they do, you're not going to turn into that person ever. You can borrow and leverage their traits, though. Like my mentor that taught me this said he would. He's since passed and crossed to the other side, but he liked the way Jack Benny moved. And if you're old enough to know who Jack Benny is, he did this a lot in a certain sort of way with the Jack Benny stare. So I've actually seen my mentor do that on occasion when he's presenting. Look at your favorite hockey coach or football coach, or maybe it's something in the dance field, or something that I've watched and leveraged. There are people in the improv space because they're thinking on their feet, and they actually use this particular statement. Yes, if you do improv, if you've ever done it, real good improv has, there is not a no to it. It's all yes. They'll start a skit off by suggesting to take an activity. Say, let's get in your car and drive up to the mountains. And the partner would say, yes, let's. And then to add on to that, and let's take some sandwiches and a dog. Yes, let's. That's one of the exercises and games that they get you to play. And the idea behind that is to build this story. And there's a framework around improv to make it work. But one of the fundamental principles is say yes to it and move the skit along the path so that you have some humor, so you show your vulnerability, so you show your authenticity, those sort of things. Okay, written goals is a good idea. One of the ways to do the written goals is to write them in a first person present tense positive statement or declaration that describes how you want to be at your future best. So coming back to the GPS, where are you now? What are you dissatisfied in your life with right now? Is it a health issue? Is it a career, a job? Is it relationships, professional or personal relationships? Is it something else with your career? Maybe it's health and fitness around too much weight, not enough weight, strength's not there, flexibility is not as where you'd like it to be. Whatever it is, it doesn't matter to me, but it should matter to you because it's your life and your goals. So looking at where you're at right now, setting your foundation for your GPS, and then what would it look like if you could move towards that which you're thinking about would be ideal for you. And just for the moment of looking at this, don't worry about the how. Don't worry about you don't have time. Don't think about you don't have enough money. Don't worry about any of that. Just dare to dream and expand your imagination to get specific and real clear images and energy around the end result you'd like to have show up. It could be financial as well. How much money do you want to have? When do you want to retire? Do you want to retire? What are you going to do when you retire if you're at that age? But it could be anything that's relevant and important to you. Is there something you want to do in a philanthropic sort of way? Put that as a goal. Is there a community that you want to help build? Do you want to go to another country and build schools and help those people get a leg up? Doesn't matter what it is, but get real clear about what it is you want to do. And again, don't worry about the how. Set the GPS. You want to be able to be in a state of dissatisfaction. And the reason you want to be dissatisfied because it turns on the creative juices and energy to solve the problem that's created between where you're at today and where you'd like to be in the future. Without that, then we become a wandering generality, and you don't want to be that. You want to be a meaningful specific. And by becoming a meaningful specific, you can get to where it is you want to get to so much quicker and so much faster. I forgot to do another commercial. So we're have a commercial in the middle. Just the other day, actually yesterday, a friend of mine had sent me a package and it arrived yesterday. Came all the way from California. She's a wonderful human being and she's in Kansas City right now hanging out with a bunch of other mega mind people. And I actually haven't opened this package. It's still in its original package. This is our group, the Mega Mind group. What an amazing group of people. So if that's another thing you could do if you wanted to help get yourself to your end result, is get into a mastermind. Create a mastermind with 2 or more people, or create your own mega mind where we're committed and driven and we're united. Even though we're not geographically in the same place, we're united in spirit and energy and a propensity to serve and help each other. And not just each other, but those people we serve and help. As a result of the people in this group, some amazing gifts have shown up for me. One is the people I've met, the energy that they share, and the knowledge that they share. Hashtag Megamind. Yes, it's cool. I'm going to put that up, Bruce. Bruce is one of our Megaminders. He's an amazing guy. He's taught me so much more than I would have known any other way, I think, or he sped up the process for me. I should have my head in between the logo, though, so because Bruce is here, I'm going to shift my chair. I was paying attention, Bruce. So that's one of the tips that I learned from Bruce. But not only that, I'm going to put him in a position, and not till December, to get him some exposure to show people what I've learned from people like Bruce. He's going to be producing and directing, sort of, my live stream we're doing December 10th for a franchise group that I'm part of. And I'm really looking forward to that. But if it wasn't for being in the Megamind mastermind group, all of this stuff wouldn't happen. I've got so many gifts of knowledge and support and kicked in the ass attitude from these guys. It's been amazing. Just absolutely amazing. So I wanted to finish my commercial of with showing this last card. And this, I know I got that in front of my face. I did that wrong. Okay, there we go. Kellen's Talk. Every Tuesday she changed the time to every Tuesday, 9 a.m. Mountain Time. She does an interview of an amazing individual and shares some knowledge and information. So if you can't join your own mastermind, or you don't want to make one, or can't find one, come and join Kellen's Coffee Talk. You'll be amazed. There's been some wonderful people there sharing their knowledge. That's the way you can invent your future and get to where you want to get to quicker. Become the person that you want to be by growing into it with the support of other people. Learning is the way to earning. And earning money is not the only thing, but you'll earn a better life by hanging out with the right kind of people. And Bruce is one of those right kind of people, and so is Kellen. Okay, let's get rid of that. So that kind of, oh, yeah, I forgot. One more plug for Kellen. She made me my own card. Look at that. That's my logo with a snowflake on it. I think that's because winter's just around the corner. I'm in Alberta, and winter shows up at all sorts of times. 2 years ago on October 2nd, we had 1.5 feet of snow. This fall, it's been beautiful. No snow yet. Weather is predictable in that it's unpredictable. So that's the predictability of success. So back to this rant I'm on. Programming your mind for success. So the way you can do that, here's how you can imprint it, is you write down your goals as to what it is you want to do, be, and have. And not a to-do list type of goals, but those things that really get you excited and scare the crap out of you at the same time. And if you've got an equal amount balance of that energy, it'll turn on the juices to resolve for the problem that you have. The problem is you're not there. So if you look at current reality and you look at the future, it's going to create the energy and excitement to solve the problem. I remember listening to Lou Tice. We were in Seattle, and he was doing a Lou Live event. There was about 400 people there. He stood up on the stage, and he sat on the table that was there. Well, not on it. He leaned against it. And he said, if there's no dissatisfaction, there's no action. So he's not saying being unhappy, but be dissatisfied with what's going on in your life right now, by looking at what you could grow into. We're teleological by nature, and I mentioned this the other day. That phrase, first time I heard it was by Maxwell Maltz in his book, Psycho-Cybernetics. And what that really means is by identifying where we're uncomfortable, and because of, our current reality isn't what we want to be, and looking at where we'd like to be, but we're not there yet. It helps program your mind to find a way to solve the problem, to get to where you want to get to. Now, one of the things you got to be careful with this is that our creative subconscious mind is so powerful that if we don't fixate on the ideal end result more than we do the current reality, it will habitually bring us back to what we refer to as your isness. So if you're not good at selling, if you're not good at something like playing a violin, or if you're not good at public speaking, or if you're not good at keeping your word to yourself, it's going to keep you in your isness, because its job is to maintain sanity no matter what. So at a conscious level, the thing we need to do is focus on the goals and the affirmations twice a day minimum for about, I don't know, 10 or 15 minutes in the morning, 10 or 15 minutes in the evening, and bring the emotion towards the to you, so that you can end up getting the ideas and the hunches and the tuition and acting upon that. That's the key, is to take action. Don't just think about things. Think about it, follow the intuitive ideas, and make shit happen by taking action. If you do that on a consistent basis, you'll change the way you think. And if you change the way you think, what you think about changes. It's amazing. Is it easy? Maybe not, but it's a simple process. So if you're serious about making change happen for yourself, that's a couple of tips that I have. Just want to make sure that I don't miss. I mean, there's a ton of things I could talk about, but this is only supposed to be a 15 to 20 minute rant by Coach Phil. Let me just scroll down my notes here. And just because I want to put a caveat on this, just because you try this and do it doesn't mean 100% of the time it's going to happen. But just think of what you experience and who you become as a result of it. It's an exciting journey. Sometimes it's fearful, but there's a way to get around the fearfulness. Okay, I'll share that today too. So what you can do, this is one of my favorite hacks, is to create a list of wins and successes. So think back to from the time you were born to today, and list absolutely everything that you've done from the time of coming into this physical plane. What have you learned? So most of us are probably too old to remember, learning how to crawl, learning how to stand up. We probably don't really remember that. But if you've got young people around you, nieces, nephews, you've had children, you can borrow from that, because you learned how to do that as well. And then from there, what did you learn how to do? You learned to crawl, you learned to walk, you learned to get attention, you learned to drink out of a sippy cup, and then out of a regular cup, and then how to use a knife and fork, and all that kind of stuff. So everything counts. And sit in a quiet space all by yourself, listing all of the things that you can possibly think of. Everything counts. Passing grade 1 to grade 12, there's 12 right there. What did you learn in each grade? What did you learn before high school, junior high school, elementary school? Did you become a musician? Did you do any sports? Did you win any races? Write it all down. It all counts. Do it in one sitting. It's life-changing, game-changing. And it comes from a Dr. Bandura, is where I heard about the explanation of it. And what we're doing in that process by listing the successes on a regular basis is that you're going to increase your efficacy. And your efficacy is really about increasing your causative power, or helping you to get shit done. And doing it in such a way that by having that list, scraping off your top 10, and the ones that emotionally impact you. For example, one for me right now, still, even at my age of 65, is when I was a hockey player, young kid, I was asked to be the captain of the Pee Wee hockey team. I was prouder than I don't know what. I was excited. It blew me away. I still recall those feelings. So you can borrow those feelings. So flick back to those wins, flicking them up to the future. It helps get rid of the anxiety and reduces the stress. And where I've used this is I've actually shared the stage with Brian Tracy, and I was able to do that by using what I'm sharing here. Now, this is not the whole thing, but it's pretty much the gist of it. And at the end of that event, when I was in San Diego at the Westin Hotel with my peers, there was about 80 or so other business coaches, and it could have been intimidating if I had not prepared for it. But I'd rehearsed over and over and over in my mind, seeing myself in that hotel. I've actually been to the hotel prior to, in previous years, prior to actually presenting there. But I had a 90-minute window to talk and present to some ideas to these other business coaches. And at the end of it, a few of them came up to me and said, wow, that was pretty good. So how many times have you delivered that, Phil? And I went, once. On the physical plane. In my mind, probably 100 or maybe 200 times. And as a result, it looked like I knew what I was talking about. I did, but I reduced the stress levels around that by utilizing the 100 success list, scraping off my top 10, wallowing in the energy around that. That's how you can program your mind for success. There's a couple of things. Decide what it is you want. Look where you are in terms of your current reality, where you would like to be in the future. Then write out your goals in the first person present tense as if they've already happened. Every morning and every evening, as a minimum, invest about 15 minutes looking at your 10 to 20 goals, and take time out in between each one when you state it. Take time and pause. See yourself as if you've already done it, and then go on to the next one and repeat. So don't make too many goals at first if you've never done this before. I would suggest you come up with three, maybe 5 goals in each area. And the areas that I focus on and I get my clients to focus on are health and fitness, relationships, career, and finances. 4 key areas. So I have 3 to 5 goals. That means you'd have 12 to 20 affirmations, goals to repeat and imprint in your process every day. The other caveat to that is control your self-talk in between. You don't want to be sabotaging yourself during the day in between doing that reflective thinking process. You want to make sure that you control that. So if you hear yourself talking yourself out of what you want to be, just say, stop it. Up until now, that might have been true, but not anymore. From now on, and then fill in the blank describing who you want to be and who you want to grow into. And then when you do something right, here's another hack, is just say, that's just like me. You don't have to say it out loud, but you just kind of, that's just like me. That helps imprint what you're trying to be and help you get there quicker than you've ever done before, perhaps. So until next week, I'm Coach Phil, and go program your mind for success. Get help from a mastermind group, a mega mind group. Create one. Get one person and then add another person. Get like-minded people that can support and help you. And there's Randy, my buddy. Good morning. Good to see you, Randy. I'm just wrapping up, buddy. It was nice of you to drop in. And who else we got here? Hey, look at that. We've got Moses all the way from Uganda in Africa. I know he's trying to raise money to help the people there that he cares about. So if you're interested in finding out more about Moses, go friend him on Facebook and see what he's all about. And if you liked what I talked about, and if you think it's worthy of other people you care about knowing about it, hey, please share this out to the people in Facebook or Twitter or YouTube, because that's where this is broadcasting to. Let them know that I go live pretty much every Monday to Friday from 9 o'clock-ish to about now. I'm a little bit longer. Normally I keep this about 15 minutes, but there's so much to talk about in this session. I mean, this is just a snippet. This is what I get jacked up about. This is why I do what I do. I'm a business coach, mindset coach, and this Business Renovator is all about helping people in one of 3 areas, or all 3 areas, and that's sales, marketing, and mindset. Those 3 together, you can change the world, I believe, and it's helped me and those that I've served. If you want to see what people have said about the processes that I've introduced and the results you've got, you can go check me out on LinkedIn. It's just LinkedIn Phil Gilkes, just as I said that, Gilkes, and just see what people are saying. If you know somebody that could benefit by anything I've said here, introduce them. I'd love to have a chat, have a virtual coffee these days. Technology has made the world really, really small. And yeah, Randy, it's okay. You don't have to apologize. You're a mega shark out there serving people. And it's exactly what I was talking about in today. It's about helping people get to where they want to get to. And you're awesome, man. Appreciate it. Programming your mind for success takes effort, takes conscious effort until you've changed it to be habitual. So it's at your subconscious level. And maybe next week I'll talk about the 4 stages of learning so that you can understand, if you don't already, what the 4 stages of learning are and what's the cycle of learning and why is it important to know what it is. And it'll help give yourself permission to make mistakes and understand what happens and where you're at in the learning process. Until next week, I'm Coach Phil. Have a wonderful, wonderful weekend. In Canada, it's Thanksgiving weekend. So be grateful for who you are, what you have, and what's about to show up in your life. Peace, guys.